Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Ben. How are you guys doing today? Now, you guys remember I did a video for this series. I can't remember how many weeks ago, but it was about like the PS4 not getting backwards compatibility, and I mentioned that Xbox One was getting backwards compatibility, and it was going to be released in a software update. Now, due to this article that I read, which the link will be in the description below, it's got me thinking again because. The question was being asked, okay, what PS2 game would you like Sony to have produced for the PS4? Meaning, like, okay, maybe they'll put it on the PSN network for people to buy, and then that's how you get your PS2 game right there. Versus, okay, you have the hard copy disc or the physical media and put it in the PS4 itself to play. Now, we all know that wasn't going to happen with the PS4, but, to see this kind of thing going on for PS2 games, could this possibly get Sony to consider doing backwards compatibility if people are so desperate to play their favorite PS2 game of all time on the newer console? Because guess what? Apparently, the PS2 was one of the best top-selling consoles of I guess the whole time in the gaming industry. I mean, like, that thing sold really well, from my understanding. And I remember when the PS3 came out, along with the PSP. I mean, the PS2 was still selling. Sony was, developers were still making games for it, even with the PS3 out at the time. And I actually heard stories where the PS3, Sony was thinking about to stop production on those because, I mean, at that time they were charging people $600, but then the price must have got down, and then now they started producing those more alongside with the PS2. Then the PS2 stopped at one point, and then the PS3 got popular. People were into it, and basically, people were very fond of the PS3 versus when it first came out. And I mean, the PS3, it was an odd story in terms of the backwards compatibility, where some units worked with backwards compatibility and some units didn't. But for the ones that didn't, you just had to download an update or the software on the PSN store in order for it to be backwards compatible. But then they did away with that when the PS3 Slim came out, and even with that specific software that you downloaded, I mean, you still could not make that thing backwards compatible. And I'm assuming the Super Slim and PS3 was the same way. And the PS4, we haven't seen any backwards compatibility yet, except with like the cloud service that they have, which I forgot what it was called already. But either way, for people trying to figure out, or for Sony to find out, okay, what games would people want to play that was on the PS2 on their PS4. I mean, you can't really consider this backwards compatibility anyway. I mean, this is just another way of getting old games onto the PSN store, letting people play it on the newer consoles. It's like they have PS1 games in the PSN store, and you can actually play it on the PS Vita, believe it or not. I mean, that's what I've heard. And this is kind of the same situation for the PS4 with being able to play PS2 games, because Sony is basically just putting out there as a digital download that you can actually buy. But then that's like, you have the physical media, then you're basically buying the game again for a cheaper price to play specifically on that console. I mean, yeah, it's great and all, but then you pretty much bought the game twice. I mean, you paid a good amount of money when it was first out in stores, whether it was brand new or used, and then, pretty much, I'm pretty sure you're paying more for the physical media. But then again, with discounts and all, but how often do those happen? So, I mean, the question is this really going to get Sony to consider backwards compatibility? Because, I mean, I've heard the response before from them, no. Meaning, like, they're not going to even put backwards compatibility for the PS4. And, like I said, this is not full backwards compatibility in my opinion. full backwards compatibility is you're able to play a game media that was from another console onto the newer console that you're trying to play it on. That's like popping in an original Xbox game in the Xbox 360, and then the same thing with the Xbox One. I mean, other than that, it looked like Sony was gonna stick with the decision and not worry about backwards compatibility, do with the newer hardware and the new software, and they're trying to get people to go from the old to the new. But then again, I mean, I even have old games that I want to play, and I'm very fond with my Xbox 360. I mean, I do want to get an Xbox One, that's for sure, and I'm looking at my 360 right here. It's killing me because I haven't played it for about a month right now, with things being hectic and all. But I really want to get an Xbox One for Halo 5. I mean, and that it got the backwards compatibility software update, that's a big plus for me right there. I mean, backwards compatibility is a big thing for people. So, what do you guys think? I mean, do you think that with Sony trying to find out what PS2 games people want to play on their PS4, will I'll consider them to apply the full backwards compatibility feature? I mean, leave a comment down below. Me personally, I honestly don't know at this point because it looks like they were going to stick with the decision, and I feel like they still want to stick with that decision, but still try to get some old games on the PSN store. Like, that's what it looks like they're trying to do, in my perspective. So that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, rate, comment. Also check out the description below for my social media links, Twitter and Instagram. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.